Have you ever found yourself struggling with when to use can, could, be able to, or be allowed to in English? If so, you're not alone. These terms, while seemingly straightforward, can sometimes leave even the most proficient English speakers scratching their heads. Their proper use often trips up not only English learners but also native speakers. Understanding these terms and their correct usage can significantly enhance your English communication skills. It can help you express ideas more clearly, ask for permissions more politely, and share abilities more accurately. So, are you ready to shed some light on these common English language conundrums? Over the next few minutes, we'll be peeling back the layers of can, could, be able to, and be allowed to, providing you with clear, concise explanations and practical examples. Stay tuned as we dive into each term one by one and clarify these common English language conundrums. First up, let's tackle the term can. The term can is a versatile one in the English language. It's a modal verb, which means it's used to change the meaning of other verbs. But don't worry if that sounds a bit too technical, because when you break it down, it's simple enough. Primarily we use can to talk about ability, something you are capable of doing, either now or in the future. For instance, if you've mastered the fine art of making pancakes, you might say, I can make pancakes. Here, can is expressing your ability to whip up a delicious breakfast. But can isn't just about what you're able to do. It's also about what you're allowed to do. If your friend has a cool new car and they offer you the keys, they might say, you can drive my car. In this case, can is giving permission. You see, can is a pretty handy little word. It lets you talk about your skills, like, I can speak 3 languages, or I can play the piano. It also lets you give or ask for permission, like, can I use your phone, or you can borrow my book. There's a little caveat though. While can is great for talking about the present and the future, it's not the best choice for talking about the past. That's where could comes in, but we'll get to that in the next scene, and there you have it. Can in a nutshell. It's about ability and permission in the present or future, and it's as simple as that. So next time you're chatting with a friend or writing an email, remember to throw in a can or two. It might be just the word you need to express yourself clearly and effectively. Remember, can is for what you are capable of now or in the future. Moving on, our next term is could. This is a term that's a little more subtle than can, but equally important to add depth to your English. Could is the past tense of can. However, it's not just used to express past abilities, but also to express possibility and to make polite requests. Let's unpack this a bit more. Imagine you're telling a story about your childhood. You might say, I could climb trees when I was younger. Here, could is used to express a past ability. It's like saying, I was able to climb trees when I was younger. It's a way to talk about something you were capable of doing in the past. Now let's look at could in another light. Suppose you're looking at the weather forecast and it says there's a 50% chance of rain. You could say, it could rain today. Here, could is used to express possibility. It's a way of saying that something might happen, but you're not certain. Lastly, could can also be used to make polite requests. For instance, if you're at a restaurant and you want to ask for the menu, you could say, could I see the menu, please? Here, could is a polite way to ask for something. It's softer and more formal than using can. Let's put it all together. Could can be used to talk about past abilities like climbing trees as a child. It can be used to talk about possibilities like the chance of rain. And it can be used to make polite requests like asking for a menu at a restaurant. Remember, English is a rich language with many shades of meaning, and could is a great tool to express those nuances. It's not just about what you say, but how you say it, so go ahead and incorporate could into your everyday conversations. Could is your go-to for past abilities or when you're trying to be polite. Now, let's explore the phrase be able to. This phrase is a handy tool in the English language toolbox. Be able to is like the Swiss Army knife of expressing ability or possibility. It's flexible, adaptable, and ready to jump into action when can or could just aren't the right fit. Let's dive into some examples. Picture this. You're planning a trip to the moon. You can't say, I can go to the moon next year, because it's a future plan. Can just doesn't work here, but be able to fits perfectly. I will be able to go to the moon next year. Or perhaps you're talking about a past ability that wasn't used. You wouldn't say I could save the day, because could implies that you didn't actually do it. Instead you'd say, I was able to save the day, signifying that you did indeed step in and save the day. Now you may be thinking, wait, could also expresses past ability, right? Yes, it does, but there's a slight difference. Could is used when the ability was there but it wasn't used. I could have saved the day, but I didn't. But was able to is used when the ability was there and it was used. I was able to save the day. Be able to also works when you want to express that something is possible, generally. For example, in this day and age we are able to communicate with people all over the world thanks to technology. Here, can or could wouldn't fit the context, but be able to works seamlessly. And remember, be able to isn't just for the present tense, it's a time traveler, comfortably fitting into the past and future tense. I was able to finish the project last week. I will be able to attend the meeting tomorrow. So in a nutshell, be able to is used when can or could are not grammatically possible. It's a versatile phrase, ready to step in when can or could can't quite make the cut. When can or could don't fit the bill, be able to steps in to save the day. Finally, we have the phrase, be allowed to. This English phrase is a little different from the others we've discussed so far. Instead of dealing with ability, it's all about permission, whether you have it or not. Now, be allowed to is used to express that someone has permission to do something. It's a way of saying that an action is permitted. You can use it in any tense by changing the form of be. For example, in the present tense you might say, I'm allowed to watch TV after dinner. This means that you have permission to watch TV after dinner. In the past tense you might say, we were allowed to leave early yesterday. This means that yesterday you had permission to leave early. And in the future tense you might say, they will be allowed to join the club next year. This means that next year, they will have permission to join the club. In each of these examples, be allowed to is used to express permission. But remember, it's not just about having permission, it's about not having it too. For instance, you are not allowed to use your phone during class. Here, be allowed to is used to express that you do not have permission to use your phone during class. Now, it's also important to note that be allowed to can be used in a passive voice. For example, children are not allowed to be left unattended in the library. This means that it's not permitted to leave children unattended in the library. And there you have it, the phrase, be allowed to in a nutshell. It's a handy tool for expressing permission, whether you have it or not. So the next time you're wondering if you can do something, ask yourself, am I allowed to? Be allowed to is all about permission, whether you have it or not. Let's recap what we've learned today. We kicked off with can, a modal verb that expresses ability, request, permission, or possibility. Can is used in the present tense, and is followed by a verb in its base form. We then moved on to could, which serves as the past tense of can. Could is used to express past ability, polite requests, and hypothetical situations. Next up, be able to, a phrase that denotes ability or possibility. It's versatile and can be used in all tenses, unlike can and could. Lastly, we tackled be allowed to, which is used to express permission. It indicates that someone has the right to do something. Each of these terms has a unique role in the English language, and understanding their correct use can significantly enhance your communication skills. By understanding these terms, you're well on your way to mastering English. Keep practicing, and you'll get there.